Thank you to each of you for joining us this afternoon. I am Marianne Simonis, and also here on the call is Stephanie Tubman, who will also be presenting. And we'll be sharing today some information about the MiSTAR Curriculum and Professional Learning Program, about updates with MiSTAR for next school year, and also some tips on how to use federal funds, both to support MiSTAR costs and for customized professional learning in your district. And as we move along, please feel free at any point to drop questions into the chat. We will work through those, and we'll also have time at the end for question and answer. So just so we can all get to know each other a little bit, if you could please introduce yourself in the chat. And in that, if you could just add your name, your district or organization, and how familiar you are with MiSTAR. You could rate a 1 if you're just learning about MiSTAR today, or a 5 if you or your district has been using MiSTAR for several years. Thanks, Joe. All right, thank you to each of you. We got some folks from all around the state, and next we'll get started with the webinar, and Steph will lead off here.
Hey everyone. For those who are new to MiSTAR, see in the chat that there are a few in the room. Welcome. MiSTAR is a middle school science program that is built around a curriculum that has associated 3-dimensional assessments, a professional learning program to support teachers in an ongoing way through their experience teaching MiSTAR, not just at the beginning, and a community of supports for educators to tie into that ongoing professional learning. Our program is driven by real world unit challenges. That's a key part of the curriculum, and also the approach that we take to assessment and professional learning. We're driven by NGSS design principles. That's a true key and a backbone to everything we do. And kind of the third key or backbone to everything we do is our educator input. That's extremely important to us and a core part of who we are. We wanted to share for those who are newer, and maybe even those who have been with MiSTAR for a while, a little bit of background on our development. Curriculum development began in 2015 when we outlined our instructional model and began developing the first units. 2017, we launched our professional learning network. In 2020, we completed all 22 units in the curriculum with associated assessments, which was quite a time of celebration for us and for all. And now we're really in a phase of continual improvement and innovation with that input that I spoke about on the past slide. And so really what that looks like for us, if you want to advance, Marianne, we're adding differentiated reading guides to many of the units. We're streamlining unit challenges, and we're taking that educator feedback to improve investigations and pull in all of the things that our educators want to see in the units. So it's a really exciting time for us as we kind of go from kind of building the skeleton and building the basics into the refinement and kind of putting those fine details into the program.
All right, one of the strengths as well of MiSTAR is its network of educators. And we use a train the trainers approach to our professional learning program. And though MiSTAR is based at Michigan Tech, we do have professional learning facilitators and teacher leaders throughout the state. They work at the local level to support teachers who are implementing the curriculum. And we currently have over 100 PLFs and teacher leaders throughout the state. And with that model, we do offer leadership opportunities for science teachers or science educators. And we will be training another cohort of professional learning facilitators and teacher leaders this summer. You can see the dates there, and our applications are open for this training. And just a little nuance of the difference. So both professional learning facilitators and teacher leaders support MiSTAR teachers as they're implementing the curriculum, but our professional learning facilitators are also trained to lead PLCs and to offer MiSTAR professional learning. And for participants that are trained in as PLFs or teacher leaders, their subscription fee is waived as long as they're active with MiSTAR. And that training is $800. And with our, we do operate on annual subscriptions for teachers that are using the curriculum. And there are a lot of things that are included with our subscriptions. This includes all the curriculum units that a teacher will use, as well as the associated professional learning to use those units. And then we do also offer shorter off-the-shelf lessons, remote learning lessons, curriculum study sessions, and our MiSTAR Learning Series and Curriculum Helpline. We do work with teachers daily through our Curriculum Helpline. So usually teachers get a response within 24 hours for us on a question they have regarding the curriculum.
And as we mentioned earlier, we're in a phase of continual innovation now. So our curriculum team is thrilled to announce that we will have 7 revised units for next year that include the resources that I spoke about earlier. And so we've got on here 3 6th grade units, 2 7th grade units, and 2 8th grade units that will be available to next year's subscribers in our community of educators. We also wanted to mention for those who are new to MiSTAR that we're currently in a relationship with Nassco Education, who sells our kits and materials. You can email MiSTAR at eNassco to receive current pricing and assistance. And the materials lists are on our website as well for those who'd like to dig into those.
And for next school year, our subscriptions are going to be $300 per teacher. That will be for all Michigan teachers. So for many of you that have used MiSTAR in the past, you're familiar that we've had pricing for new teachers and pricing for returning MiSTAR teachers, but we're moving to a single rate pricing. So hopefully that will simplify things a bit. And the subscriptions will be available for purchase starting on May 1st. As on May 1st, we'll have our payment link available. And those that will be purchasing subscriptions for teachers, you can purchase for a group of teachers at once at your district, and you'll have the ability to assign who will be using each of the subscriptions. And as well, as we know, there has been a lot of teacher turnover in the past couple of years, and possibly moving forward, though we hope not. But districts can switch assignments of the subscription. So if a teacher leaves, they can have the new teacher use the subscription for that school year. It does not transfer the accounts, but it does transfer that subscription. And we wanted to speak to you today about this item, maybe in particular, is that we encourage each of you to include MiSTAR in your continuous improvement plans in MyKit. MiSTAR is a strategy in the MiSTAR Strategy Bank, and so you can add it in the MyKit platform. And because our subscriptions include both access to the middle school science curriculum and the professional learning program, you can use Title II or Title IV funding to pay for the MiSTAR subscriptions. And I would like to thank Joe Trometer, who's on the call today. He compiled this list of resources and created the video tutorials that are in this list. These tutorials will help you to write MiSTAR into your continuous improvement plans using MyKit, as well as other strategies that you may have for other subject areas. So these resources really will be useful to everybody. So thank you, Joe. And we're just going to watch a brief clip from the MiSTAR tutorial video that will introduce how you can select MiSTAR as a strategy in MyKit.
Hi, Joe Trometer from Cloyd Gladwin RESD here. Once you have put in some measurable goals into your MyKit plan, it's time to select some strategies. So we're going to go through the part of the template that's under creating a strategy implementation plan. And in MyKit, we do that down here by selecting strategies once our goals are ready. So to add a strategy, we're going to use the great big Add Strategy button. And now this is going to take us out to the My Strategy Bank. You don't actually have to log into the My Strategy Bank to use this. If you already know what you're looking for is in there, or if you want to just browse through and see if it's in there, you can just search for it here without actually having to log in. The login to the My Strategy Bank is really if you're going to create your own strategy. Now, there are things in here that are not really strategies. And in this example, we're actually going to put a whole curriculum in there. There are certain parts of that curriculum that certainly lend themselves to strategies, but the curriculum itself we know is not a strategy. This is really a stopgap, hopefully, for this year until everything is sorted out as to what's a strategy, what's a curriculum, what's an activity. But for this example, we're going to use MiSTAR, and the search is pretty specific. So if I just type in STAR, we'll see if I actually get anything. And there it is. That's actually the third one down. You can also try to do MI dash, but if you don't know if it's a dash, so if I type in MiSTAR as all one word, I get nothing. So if you don't get what you're looking for right away, try putting less in your search. So STAR works great, but MiSTAR without the dash does not work. So when I click on it, it's going to take me through the description and some of the details. And this is where you have to be careful and you want to read through it and make sure that it actually makes sense.
All right, thank you. So I know that the MyKit platform is new, both to us, but to many of you, as you will enter strategies in that bank. And so later on in the session, if you do have questions about the MyKit platform, Joe will be able to help out with some of those answers as well.
Hi, Joe Trometer from Cloyd Gladwin RESD.
All right, Steph.
Yeah, and so in addition to speaking to MyKit today and the ways that MiSTAR can be included, or the kind of the mechanics of how MiSTAR can be included in MyKit for this year, we also wanted to mention ESSER funding. We want to be responsive to the challenges that districts have faced during the pandemic and now coming out of the pandemic. And as many of you know, I'm sure these funds are available to your district to support that process and to catch students up in their learning. And so the funds are available to pay for MiSTAR teacher subscriptions, PLF and teacher leader training, unit kits and materials, and also support for new teachers, primarily for new districts that would apply, and that our understanding of the ESSER funding is that it's to implement new strategies that haven't yet been implemented yet in the district to support students as they come out of the pandemic. We know that there's been a lot of teacher turnover, as Marianne mentioned, and so we're now offering a program of support for new science teachers and also long-term substitutes. It's customizable to fit your district's needs, but kind of the basic topics would include classroom management, overviews of the MiSTAR units, how to instructionally plan, effective science pedagogy, and protocols for how to engage students equitably in science class. And so basically getting all of these instructors who have a lot to catch up on up to speed more quickly than they might otherwise be able to. And also helping to redistribute some of the work from veteran teachers who have quite a bit to think about right now as well. Maybe outward, using some of this funding. And so we're available and we're open to having conversations with any district that would like to talk about a custom plan for support. We really want to help support new teachers and also help to take away some of the load that the veteran teachers are feeling with this turnover. If you could go to the next slide, Marianne. Thank you. And so also as part of this, we do meet the Michigan Department of Education guidelines for providing mentorship to new teachers. So for those teachers who are strictly new and are in a full-time teaching position, we can work with them and serve as their mentor in accordance with the professional development and mentoring legislation. And so in our case, we'll pair one of our retired master teachers who work with us or a university professor who's on our team with that teacher to provide them their mentoring experience. So I think at this point we wanted to open up for questions. I'm sure, Joe, if you're willing, you're here as well and you can speak a little bit more to the mechanics of the MyKit system this year, but Marianne and I are here and are very happy to answer any questions that you might have about the MiSTAR program itself. So we'll open it up for questions.
Well, I can chime in on one thing that I was trying to type in the chat and can't type fast enough, but when you're thinking about implementing MiSTAR, don't forget to include in your plan time for teachers and whether that's stipend time or substitutes, if you're lucky enough to have substitutes around, but factor in some time for them, whether that's if you're planning on having them do that training in the summer or during the school year after hours, make sure you have some time built in. So for some districts, that means a stipend. Some districts I've seen pull it off by shifting other PD where they don't have to be included in the curriculum work that's being done by everyone else. They get kind of a pass on that so they can go back to their classroom and work on their MiSTAR training. So just make sure you keep that training time in mind because depending on how you do it, that could have a dollar amount attached to it as well. And you'd want to make sure that's included in your plan.
Thank you, Joe.
If anyone does have a question, we welcome, if you would like to unmute, you're welcome to do that, or if you'd like to put it in the chat. I know on the next slide, Marianne also has our contact information, so we welcome for sure any questions that might arise also outside of the session. Really want to be here to support you, whether you're in a prospective district or a district that's currently using MiSTAR with this process. So. Well, I guess if there aren't any questions, Marianne, we could wrap up for today. And Marianne and I will hang on a little bit after if anyone has any anything that you'd like to speak about with us individually. And thank you everyone so much for your time. Appreciate you coming and joining us today.